It's good, friends. Welcome back. So, you want to invade a city? That's amazing. Good idea. Guys, if you have never invaded a city before, or it's your first attempt or second attempt, watch this video. I'm gonna tell you everything I know about invading a city, how to do it properly, and how to put everything on your side to make sure that your mission will be successful. So, strap in. There's a lot of stuff I want to talk about. It's going to be a long video, and I'm sure that you will learn a few tricks. Now, the first step in invading a city is who will you be invading? Which alliance? Now, okay, why I say that? Because it's time to gather some intel about your target. Do they have a network? Do they have friends, allies? Are they part of a family? And when you talk about this, you may want to open a channel with all your R4s and most trusted warriors. Do not talk about that at large in your alliance. Why? Because you never know if there's a spy or somebody that may be friend with that alliance you wish to invade. Okay, so if you want to warn your crew, your team, that you will be invading, you can tell them, but don't go into details of which alliance exactly, okay? Keep it secret until you have everything, you figured everything out. So you will not get, so you will keep the element of surprise. And also, it may be a good moment to open a channel with all your allies, okay? All the team that are fighting on your side. You'll know why a bit later, but it's always good to know when you invade, usually the target, they will call for help. Okay, they may not be able to repel your assault, so they will call for help, and you want to know who will help them. Now that we talk about who will you invade, I want to talk about when will you invade. The time of attack is very important. You want to invade a city during the peak of your activity, when you have the most warrior active. Of course, it makes sense, but also when the enemy is sleeping or they have very low activity. When I say gather some intel, yeah, figure that out. It's your job. Make sure that you're on your best moment to invade. And why timing is important? Because if you invade a city, so let's pick Vienna, for example, because that's a city we invaded recently. Now, when depending on the city, the layout, level 2 and level 3 city, they have fort. Okay, if you cannot invade in the middle where there's the high value claim land, you're gonna have to land outside this region, the middle section here, and usually to enter that the middle, you need to go through the fortress, and this fortress have a safeguard, meaning that, for example, so now this fort is open for contest for another hour and 12 minutes. This is when you can contest and capture the fort. Outside this time, you cannot. So you have to wait there, and while you wait for nothing, you leave enough time for your enemy to organize and gather a counterattack. So usually, if you know you can invade near the fort, if you land maybe 4 hours before the safeguard drops, it's a good timing, in my opinion. You will have plenty of time to reach that objective and capture it and secure it to keep progressing. Of course, you have to consider the combatant command, which also have a safeguard. So in that case, the safeguard, the combatant command is open for contest for another hour and 11 minutes, but the safeguard on the combatant command is much longer than the fort. So you have to think about that as well, because ultimately, the combatant command is your final objective, is your final destination. When you capture that, it means that you owe the city, and usually, well, most of the time, the enemy at this time will retreat or maybe plan a final counter-offensive. But most of the time, it's a done deal. And also, speaking of timing, sometimes this game is updating, right? And the game update can last usually 3 hours. You want to make sure that during that week you will be invading a city, that there won't be any game update, or else you leave time for the enemy to build multiple central command in your way to slow you down. That could be a disaster. So now that you know your target, your alliance, etc., it's time to pick your landing zone. Is the city fully built, or there is gap? In that case, this city is fully built, and if you are a late in the game, most of the city, the level 3 city, will be fully built. It doesn't mean you cannot invade. You just have to be creative and find your way in. You have usually 2 options. The first option is to infiltrate the city. The second option is using the Eagle Raid. And I'm going to talk about the Eagle Raid for a second, because the Eagle Raid, in my opinion, is broken. I don't want to crush your expectation, but I have to tell you the truth. We use that, and we're not used to the Eagle Raid per se, because at this point, it's not something that we have to use, but we found out pretty late that this skill is not, it's kind of broken. So Eagle Raid, there you go. So Eagle Raid, this one, it takes a lot of points to max in order to launch the skill. The way it works is, first of all, well, the first problem with Eagle Raid is you cannot launch the Eagle Raid in a remote city, meaning that if we want to invade Vienna, we need to have somebody inside Vienna who is an R4 that can launch the skill. In my opinion, it doesn't make any sense, because that skill was introduced later in the game to let an alliance open the city. But what is the point to open the city if you're already in the city? Ask me, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. Anyways, and the second weakness about the Eagle Raid is when you launch this skill, your ally, your target, will know instantly. And you have 6 hours to organize, and after 6 hours, the village you raid will become neutral, and you can land. But the enemy will know already by then, and will just place bases inside that claim land, inside that neutral zone. They will just wait for you if, let's say, you can jump, because if the city is fully built, it means it's overcrowded. But if that village becomes neutral and there's not enough space to land, it will still be overcrowded. So you won't be even able to jump in that village. So what's the use of this skill? I don't know. You ask me. The only thing is, if you want to launch the Eagle Raid, launch that raid in a building alliance. That's it. You see those 3 alliances there? These are called building alliance. It means that when you build your city, you want to build near the combated command and in the middle of the map with your main alliance. That's where the best farm zone is. That's where the best mine is. That's where you want to hang out in the city. Outside the zone, there's less interesting stuff, but regardless, you want to use your precious zone, your precious village to build around, and outside you're gonna fill up with building alliance, meaning that it's a dead alliance. There's usually only one member and the leader, and this alliance is always closed for application, and they have really low technology. So if there's nobody in that alliance, meaning that nobody will get the warning that this village will be raided, so you raid there. That's your only hope, and that's the case where there's too many peace treaties, and anyways, you cannot burn a village if you infiltrate. So let's talk about the infiltration then. The best way in my opinion is to infiltrate one of those alliances. You see, this is good because there's many borders, many sub-alliances in the area. So there's a lot of options of where you can infiltrate. And how do you infiltrate? Well, you need a spy, and you need a good one. And spies these days, they are creative. A good spy will usually so this is a profile. So if I want to be a good spy, I'm gonna I'm gonna impersonate a player. I'm gonna copy his avatar, his picture. I will downsize or download my power maybe to match somebody that may be in the alliance. I will change my name. I could even remove my city post, because any R4 that want to double check on a member, any R4 with an IQ of above room temperature will figure it out in our alliance, at least because they have experience. So they will find out. So the best, and it's time to be creative as a spy to infiltrate this alliance. And when you're inside the alliance, then at the moment you will simply, let's say that we invade TR, so the spy will start burning all the villages at the border or touching this alliance right there. So you set ablaze all those villages, okay? And when this happens, now it's time to organize and pick one village to invade. But before going there, I forgot to tell you, and this is important. Before landing, okay, guys, listen up. This is important, so you don't waste your time. Make sure that you reinforce the security inside your alliance. What do I mean by that, friends? Simple. In your own city or your other city, verify all the sub-alliance, like those, let's say, and make sure that you cannot apply. Make sure that the sub-alliance is closed so nobody can enter and sabotage your city. Inform all your R4. Do not accept anyone without verification. Make sure you renew the peace treaty, so if somebody infiltrate, he cannot burn because there is a peace treaty between those two alliances. If you suspect somebody without any proof yet, make him R0. He won't be able to burn anything. Because if you fail to do this and you start invading and the enemy knows he's screwed, he will try to hire maybe a friend to sabotage your city and draw your troops outside the target, meaning that it will be easier for them to defend. So that happened before, and I'm sure it happened to you as well. Make sure you secure your stuff before attacking, because the enemy will try to attack you this way, okay? He will be also creative, and he will try every way possible, somewhere maybe dirty, but he will try it, okay? So now you pick your target, you set the village ablaze, and let's say that you want to drop here. So you drop here and you build a CC. And if you did a good job, usually it will be a calm landing. If the enemy is awakened, it will be a hot landing. Well, that's even better because there will be a lot of action. And what you do is you're going to start building there. And as soon as you build the CC, you will start burning, not burning, sorry, do not burn. You will start to eliminate and clean all around your CC. Burn all the bases there, okay, all around, so you can start advancing toward your objective, okay? Now this alliance, they built a command center here, but disregard that for today. This is not important. So I'm going to erase that. Now you progress, and while you progress toward your objective, the fort, you will not burn anything each side of your path. Guys, This is very important. Why you do not burn anything on your path yet? Because you're burning through building alliances with low technology. The enemy in green, they will be forced to join that building alliance to be able to reach you. And a building alliance with no technology, meaning that they do not have any firepower or durability buff. Their village building is slow. The village you can burn is quite fast. They don't have any buff to counter you properly. You will have all the best buff, but they won't. So this is on your advantage. Use that in your favor. Okay? When you reach the premium land, so you reach the target, you're in time, you can burn it instantly and progress. Now, by that time, if everything goes well, you may not have any opposition because you burn everyone. Pay attention, because usually when you burn everyone, maybe 6 hours later, 7 hours later, the enemy will counterattack. Now it's time to be careful and watch around. Make sure that the enemy doesn't organize or doesn't attempt to build a CC in your way. Okay? You want to counter, if I should say, in order to advance in a timely fashion. But when you reach this premium land right there, now you want to burn everything on each side. Why? Because with the version 5.0, okay, hold on. In the version 5.0, they introduced a new skill called Territory. Territory will give you additional buff in terms of firepower, durability, damage received, and damage given to your troops when you fight inside your zone, inside your claim land. If you burn everyone, okay, I'm going to do the drawing again. So let's say you follow this path. So if you burn everything on each side, these lands will become neutral and the enemy will have to attack you from a neutral land inside a 2-year claim land, meaning that despite having the buff for their alliance, they won't have the buff of territory. So it will be easier for you. They will be forced to fight you in neutral zone. So be smart about that. Think about this. Sometimes you don't have to burn. Sometimes you have to burn. And this way it will be very hard for the enemy to counter you. Now, what happens when you reach your final destination? Is in that case, you see, they build a CC around 2 sides. So when you reach that destination or close to, also pay attention because now the enemy will become desperate. I'm going to zoom out a little bit to show you what I want to show you, okay? So when you want to burn, if possible, try to invalidate. If you cannot reach the combated command in time, burn a line here and there, all the way down to cut them off. Okay, so this whole cluster of villages will become invalid. Why you want to do that? It's simple. Is each village, when it's valid, produce some income in points, and those points are used to build villages and CC. If you invalidate everything, they will have to move their CC elsewhere, and if they don't have enough points, that will be a big problem for them. Okay, I know that you cannot burn everything at once, but if you can cut them off most of their villages to attack their economy, because you have attacked their troops, then you attack their economy, and then you will attack their will. They won't have any willpower to stay in the fight. So invalid as much land as possible and you'll be able to reach that CC. And when you reach that combated command, what you want to do, I'm going to zoom in. Of course, the good old technique, you will build a CC there. You will build a CC there. You will build a CC there and a CC. Yeah, but we don't have enough CC. Well, you use a sub-alliance or you use your friend's alliance to build something. Build something around. Make sure that it becomes harder for them to counterattack and try to recapture or save the combated command. Okay, so you build a safety zone inside for now. Make sure that it's more difficult for your enemy to retake the combated command. That's pretty much it, guys. So with a few preparation, it will have a huge impact of the amount of energy you will have to spend into this mission, this campaign. Between you and me, invading a city, I think I enjoy it more than playing in the theater of conquest. Why? Because for one reason, when you start landing and burning, suddenly the world chat and city chat becomes alive. And you're doing a good job. A sign that you're doing a good job is the amount of trash talks, insult, bad word, mind game, threat, name it. The more garbage there is in the world chat, it means that you did an amazing job. And this is very enjoyable to read every time. I laugh at it. I know it sucks to lose or it sucks to get invaded and know that you're screwed and there's nothing else to do. The enemy will try every way to try to stop you or slow you down. If you follow my steps, you should have no problem invading a city. Name yourself the Supreme Commander and have fun, guys. So that's all for today. I hope that you learned something. If you did, give me a thumbs up. It's much appreciated. And if you have a question, of course, feel free to ask me. It will be a pleasure for me to answer all your questions. Until then, guys, have a great week. I'll see you on the next video.